This is Ben Summer. I own and operate BandsLikeRush.com, a music discovery podcast and blog featuring up-and-coming progressive rock bands. Enjoy this video edition of the podcast and check out my own music. Visit my website at bensummer.com. If you sign up for the email list, you'll get 3 free downloads.
It's alright now. It's alright now. The starlight shine down on me. Shine down on me. Midnight. Oh, by midnight. I will be waiting for you. Oh, midnight, come watch over me.
Today I speak with the keyboardist Steve Mauch from the West Coast prog rock band Mars Hollow. This is the third band from the indie rock label 10T that I have interviewed. The first two were Elf Project and Fluttr Effect, which you can find on the site. The fact that both of those bands were signed to 10T was really an accident, because Fluttr Effect I had sought out on my own because I want to connect with them. They're a local Boston-based prog band. And the other one, Elf Project, was referred to me by a friend. I didn't learn until later that they were both signed to the same label, 10T. But when I went exploring the 10T progressive and experimental roster, I discovered several other bands, kind of like Rush, if you will, that I thought would be perfect for the site. So I contacted a few more of them, and Mars Hollow was the first from that latest batch of contacts. So in the interview, Steve and I discussed the differences between the prog music scenes in his hometown of Los Angeles and different parts of Mexico. I'm going to leave it to you to guess which is the better place for prog rock. We also discussed the kind of oddly traditional route that they've taken to starting up the band, which includes recording an album with a top producer, shopping it around, and then performing out live a lot, looking for a break and promotion. Hope you enjoy the interview. Hi, I'm here with Steve Mauch from the band Mars Hollow. You guys are from San Diego area, correct?
Actually, LA area.
Oh, good. Well, West Coast, the left coast. Good to have you on the show. BandsLikeRush.com. Why don't you just start out with just giving a little bit of background about yourself and the band and how you got started?
I met Jerry Beller, who's the drummer in our band, and it was back in the spring of 2007. He put an ad in Music Connection, which is a classified music paper here in LA, and he was looking for a progressive rock keyboard player. And he and our bass player, Kerry, had been playing in a Emerson, Lake and Palmer tribute band, and they'd also played with Ryo Akamoto, the keyboard player for Spock's Beard. He had a side project called Code Red, and so they were playing with him. But that project, I guess, ended, so Jerry was looking to start his own progressive rock band, so found me in the ad, and Kerry and he and I started writing together and really kind of clicked, and started looking for a guitar player. And so through Kerry had to take a little bit of time off, so we actually ended up through more classified ads finding another bass player and this very, very gifted, talented guitar player, John Baker. And so we started writing together as a four-piece, and then as chance would have it, Carrie was able to come back into the band again, and at that point we were calling ourselves Next, and we recorded a demo of 3 songs. John, the guitar player, has a studio, so we recorded 3 songs there, and we put them up on the MySpace page. And at that point, we got in contact with Ronan Chris Murphy, who he's a producer who's done a lot of great work, a great guy too, and he had he's remixed a lot of the King Crimson catalog, and he's worked with Terry Bozzio and Tony Levin and on and on, progressive rock luminaries that he's worked with. So we felt extremely fortunate to find him and to have him interested at all in working with us.
Cool.
So it was really exciting, and he just he added a lot of great inspiration and good advice, and we started pre-production and then went in and recorded the album with him, and we actually recorded that last March, or March a year ago, and
yeah, time flies.
Time flies, and so when we finished the album, which was in about November, we started chopping it around, and we were lucky enough to find 10T Records, and ended up signing with them in January, and it's been great ever since. 10T's been great. They've gotten the record out there for us, and we've gotten a lot of good response.
Cool.
And
that's cool. So it's interesting. I told you in email that I've already interviewed two of the your co-mates on 10T.
Yes. Totally
unplanned. Elf Project and Fluttr Effect. And then I actually sent an email to a few of those guys I interviewed. Carl Schultz from Elf Project emailed back. I was asking for more leads on good bands to interview, and he said just go through the 10T roster, see what you like.
That's cool. I listened to that interview too, and it was great.
Oh, the Elf Project one?
Very interesting. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, thanks. I dig all this music in 10T. I mean, I haven't listened to the non-progressive. I've listened mostly just all the progressive bands that are on the label. But it seems like they're picking quality stuff, but stuff frankly most people I think have probably never heard of. So that's kind of the mission behind the site is hook people on a name they know, which is Rush and their ilk, and introduce them to lesser known bands who are just just as good and interesting, but just don't have the star power yet.
Very, very cool. Yeah, and the 10T guys, Jeff and Steve, they're great guys, and I think they really believe in the bands that they sign in, and they don't have a huge roster, so they're able to really put a lot of effort and personal pride into each one of the bands that they've got signed, and they've really worked hard for us to get our name out there, and can't say enough good things about them. We've been extremely fortunate through our relationship, finding Ronan and then being signed by 10T. We've been super lucky.
That's cool. I'm curious, 10T. So just the small indie label these days. You hear so much and you read so much about everything and changing in the industry and labels, or what are they good for? Of course, that's usually targeted at the big labels, because we know what they're not good for is recompensating artists and playing fair and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So indie labels still have a good rap, but what does that when you described your path? You got a band together, you got a good producer, you recorded an album, you shopped it around. That sounds so old school. What is 10T? What is an indie label doing for you now, versus what you could do on your own?
I think they really understand the art and science of getting reviews, getting the album out there to the people that matter and know how to review albums, and they really got it out there, and they got a real great buzz going, and they know how to coordinate that right in terms of when the product is going to be available at retailers, and it all kind of is this coordinated marketing effort that I think if you had done it a lot of times, you in theory could do it yourself as a band, but it's really you're relying on their expertise to know how to kind of time the whole machine and get the word out there, and they are experts at doing it.
Right. And I assume they're not raping you financially, as a big label would.
No, but I also have to throw in there that this is definitely not a business to get rich in. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm calling you from, and this you're not alone by any means. I don't think I've interviewed anyone yet who either isn't fully employed at a day job or like voluntarily underemployed, so that they can do their music and attempt kind of situation. So you're calling from work. You just clocked out, I guess. Where you work?
Yeah, I actually work at a movie studio in the LA area, kind of in the Hollywood area, doing print stuff. So when we all have day jobs, it's like it's definitely a labor of love, because you got the record company out there pitching records, but it's not big business by any means.
Right.
It's a real labor of love.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's listen to a full track from the band's self-titled debut. This is called Wait For Me.